Welcome to the gaming news of the week. This week, Private Division and Moon Studios unveiled the impressive trailer for the early access of No Rest for the Wicked. In celebration of the early access launch of the game on April 18th, Moon Studios and Private Division have presented the official launch trailer for the early access of No Rest for the Wicked, an action RPG with a top-down view and a gritty story. The trailer showcases the game's pictorial style and offers a glimpse into the story and some of the characters that players will be able to interact with. No Rest for the Wicked will be available at a special introductory price of $35.99, with both the affiliate discount and the introductory price available until May 2nd at 6 p.m. CEST. Players who purchase No Rest for the Wicked during the early access period will receive the special Kerem armor set. Once purchased on Steam, No Rest for the Wicked can also be played in the cloud through NVIDIA GeForce Now, which requires a separate registration and subscription. This feature offers players instant access to PC-level performance with a GeForce on any PC, Mac, Shield TV, Android, iOS device, or Chromebook without the need to download the game. Moving on to the next news for the week is the return of World of Warcraft to China. A new agreement between NetEase and Blizzard has allowed the game to reach the country, and the initial numbers have shown that it is a great success for all the companies involved. Its arrival can already be considered a resounding success, with over 2 million subscriptions in just 2 days of pre-registration. An impressive figure even for this MMORPG giant. Additionally, on the official World of Warcraft Weibo account, they shared some other important data for the community. There have been 92,000 successfully recovered accounts and 147,000 reactivated ones. This means that a lot of the players that lost their account in 2023 will be able to continue their progress where they left off. On top of World of Warcraft returning in June of this year, there are also many other titles that Chinese users will be able to enjoy, namely Hearthstone, Overwatch 2, Diablo 3, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, Diablo 4, and Heroes of the Storm. Next up for this week, we have some Darkest Dungeon 2 news again. Red Hook Studios has announced that Darkest Dungeon 2 will be available on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on July 15th. These versions of the game, released in 2023 for PC, are now available for pre-order, and a pack including the game and its DLC, The Binding Blade, with the Oblivion pack, will also be offered. In design director Tyler Sigmund's words, "We were eager to bring Darkest Dungeon 2 to PlayStation players. The game feels great with DualSense. We've been able to add touches like the hero's heartbeat or the sound of mechanisms activating traps. Darkest Dungeon found a strong community on PlayStation, and we hope that repeats with the sequel. The game takes us through 5 campaigns, each with its own mechanics and bosses. As you progress, heroes will bond or clash, leading to necessary combat synergies or dysfunctions that spell the end of the journey. So, if you're a console player looking for a new roguelike to pick up, definitely keep this on the radar." Next for this week's news is the highlights of the Nintendo Indie World Showcase event. The event showcases upcoming indie releases coming to the Nintendo Switch. They showcased 17 new games that will be available or that you can already play from today. Here are a few of the highlights from the event. From the studio Shared Memory and the publisher Big Mode, Animal Well is set to release on May 9th, 2024 for PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and Windows platforms. Players will navigate through a dense, interconnected labyrinth, engaging in exploration and puzzle solving, while encountering a variety of both beautiful and unsettling creatures. The game environment is designed to be highly detailed and atmospheric, using advanced rendering techniques to add depth to its 2D pixel art. Another pretty popular game that was shown was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Fate of Splinter. It's set to be a roguelike arcade game in the style of Hades, featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as protagonists. Behind this initiative is none other than Super Evil Megacorp. And we won't deny it, stepping away from being an Apple Arcade exclusive is a new opportunity for this game to shine, combining the best of classics and modern games. Next is Little Kitty Big City, which is basically Untitled Goose Game with cats. Being developed by Double Dagger Studio, you'll be able to play as a destructive cat with its own list of mischief to do. You'll be able to let people pet you, help other animals, and annoy pedestrians in the city by making them trip over you. The game is set to be available on May 9th, 2024. There were a bunch of other games showcased at the event, so if you're interested, go check it out. Next for the news of the week is an official mod editor for Witcher 3. Players can sign up to get ahead of the rest by testing the Witcher 3 Red Kit. CD Projekt Red has assured that the tools fans will be able to use are identical to those used by the developers to create it. Additionally, they described it as a space that offers practically unlimited freedom to give your own touch to the game. The Witcher 3 Red Kit is still in the development phase, although fans have been informed that they can already try it out. If you want to access the space, you will need to request permission through the Steam page. The lucky ones chosen to try it out will be able to create their own weapons, items, missions, characters, and even expansions. This tool space was presented last November, although it had not been launched to the public until this week. For now, this software is only intended for PC, and as mentioned before, it is still in the development phase, although it is expected to be released this year for free. Players will be able to create their own versions of Geralt's adventures and his companions, including quest chains, locations, animations, and dialogues. Users will have virtually no limitations when materializing their creative ideas, as developers will provide almost all tools used to create The Witcher 3. Next up, the news of the week is the Hades 2 technical test. The Hades 2 trial will allow Supergiant Game Studio to find and resolve technical issues in the sequel to the award-winning Greek mythology roguelike. According to reports, this trial will have a lot less content than early access, but it will ensure a much smoother launch. Players will be able to play through the first area of the game, but progress cannot be transferred to the early access version. Initially, this trial will be available to a limited number of players, but as they fix issues, more people will be added. In theory, it should be active more than a week but less than a month, but its duration will depend on the issues encountered by players. In their words, we want the early access of Hades 2 to offer a smooth experience from the start, hence this technical trial, although it will have much less content than what we prepared for launch. It will cover something like the first level of Tartarus in the original Hades. It will be available to a relatively small group of players among those who express interest in participating, but we hope to increase the number of people over time, so if you don't receive the invitation at first, maybe you'll get it later. We estimate it will last more than a week and less than a month, and if you get it, just play and let us know if you encounter any bugs or problems. If you want to apply for the technical test, you'll need to go to the page within Steam, register a login, and click on Request Access in the box related to the test. Once you request, you'll have to wait until you receive a notification when the developer is ready to add more participants. Next for the news of the week is some more layoffs. Take-Two Interactive has announced its plans to abandon the development of several games, a decision made in the context of a cost-saving campaign that will also result in the dismissal of 5% of its workforce. Take-Two Interactive encompasses studios like Rockstar Games, 2K, and Zynga, responsible for titles such as Grand Theft Auto, Civilization, and Farmville. The titles affected by this measure have not been disclosed yet, but the intention to lay off 5% of its workforce has been confirmed. Through this process, the company expects to save up to $200 million. Of this amount, $140 million will be attributed to the cancelled projects, and $35 million to the workforce-related expenses. This move comes shortly after the CEO, Strauss Zelnick, mentioned in the third quarter earnings report of 2023 that they were working on a significant cost reduction program to maximize profit margins. The CEO confirmed that the largest portion of their expenses was allocated to marketing, and that there were no plans to include layoffs in the restructuring of their business strategy. It remains to be seen how this situation will end. Despite all the layoffs that have been carried out to date, it seems that we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Nevertheless, it appears that the main games Take-Two has in development among its multiple studios, such as Rockstar's GTA 6, are still moving forward. We'll see if the success of this title alleviates the situation. The American distributor follows suit with other gaming companies such as Unity Software, Riot Games, and Microsoft's gaming division, which are just a few of the examples of sector representatives that have experienced massive layoffs this year. Lastly, for the news of the week is announcing crossplay for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on PC. Sony has detailed the features and system requirements for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PC. The action-adventure game, set to release on May 16th, is already available for pre-purchase on Steam and the Epic Games Store. Regarding compatibility with the Steam Deck, they haven't said anything about it yet, so we'll have to wait for the release and see if it works on Valve's device. The game will include support for NVIDIA DLSS 3 and AMD FSR 3, which supports upscaling and frame generation. It also supports Intel XeSS, as well as native smoothing modes for FSR and DLSS. This runs the game at native resolution, but uses scalar smoothing to enhance image quality. There's a wealth of features here that means virtually every PC player will have access to performance-boosting technology. FSR 3 support at launch is particularly noteworthy. Adoption of AMD's frame generation technology has been slow, and although we've seen it in recent games, it's generally not available at launch. Aside from scaling and frame generation, Sony says that the PC version will support aspect ratios of 21:9 and 32:9 for ultra-wide screens, and even aspect ratios of 48:9 and configurations for 3 monitors. The game will come to PC with the same content as the PS4 and PS5 versions, i.e. the full game, the Iki Island expansion, and the Legends cooperative mode. PC players will be able to play with those on PS4 and PS5 and use voice chat in Legends. Additionally, this title debuts the new PlayStation overlay, which includes our list of friends, trophies, settings, and our profile used on Sony systems. It's an optional feature that we can activate with a keyboard shortcut. So, while playing the PC version, you can unlock trophies for your console. The good news is that this does not exclude Steam and Epic Games Store's achievements. They will also be included. The only requirement to use the new features of an overlay, trophy system, friends, and crossplay is to connect with a PlayStation account. In addition, Nixxes has also published the recommended hardware. So that's about it for this week's news. If you're interested in supporting the channel, be sure to leave a comment, let us know what you think about all the news, and check out our VIP subscription on the website for some exclusive supporter benefits. We will be seeing you next week.